Hello and welcome to my video, The Day I Met Prince. So just to let you know, I'm doing this off the top of my head with no notes, a very shaky memory for over 20 years ago. So for context, I was the biggest Prince fan from being a toddler. I remember my mum putting on the old black and white TV and 1999 by Prince coming on. That's the first time I'd encountered Prince, and since then he has really formed the soundtrack to my life. Always stuck with him. So I'd seen Prince once before, in the mid-90s in the Manchester GMX when he was going under the unpronounceable symbol, and that night he played mostly unreleased material. He was in a battle with his record company at the time. Fast forward to May 2003 and I moved to Australia for 12 months. And I was determined, as I was in my 20s, to have as good a time as possible. And it came to be, I was working in a call centre there and browsing Prince's website at the time, the mpgmusicclub.com. There was rumours on the message board there, on the forum there, that he was going to be touring Australia, something he hadn't done for a number of years. And I thought, well, that's good luck for me. And I'd noted that if you joined the MPG Music Club, you could tend to get, at that time, better seats at the venue and various other bonuses as well. So the concerts were in October of 2003, and Prince was actually playing Sydney Entertainment Centre, where I was located in Sydney at the time. So it was, for MPG Music Club members, you could pay, there was a ridiculous amount of money where you got to meet him backstage before the gig and actually sit in sort of these holes on the stage, almost taking part in the show, but it was a ridiculous amount of money. But there was another tier, which was to see him sound check, which I thought that's pretty cool, guaranteed first 20 rows of the arena for the concert at night, and this was the holy grail, tickets to his after party afterwards. And this was limited to a small number of people. It happened to be that my mum was coming over on holiday. A few people did that while I was living in Australia, made the trip from the UK because they knew they'd get free accommodation. So my mum was there, and me and my mum got these tickets to see Prince. So, obviously back then, mobile phones weren't as tech wizardry as they are today. Cameras weren't allowed, so I have absolutely no photos of this day and night. Everything you see here is either photos of me living it up in Oz or photos of Prince around that era. So we were allowed in to see the sound check, and all the seats were lined up, and I decided I wanted to get as close to the front as possible, and there was a bit of a rush, and I started sort of doing a very amateurish hurdles attempt, vaulting over these rows of seats. And there's a security guard who shouted over, "Please stop jumping over the seat." And I nodded, "I will," as I was still jumping over the seats. Happened that we got on the second row. A long wait ensued. And then, first of all, Prince's musicians, including James Brown, band member Maceo Parker, and Prince came out. I'll never forget Prince's first words: "Save your legs, you might need them," which struck me as a very Northern English phrase. And he proceeded to play 17 days. So he's playing, everyone's up dancing. There's not many of us in there. I'd say maybe between 150, 200 people. So it was an incredible experience, really. And Prince played 3 songs. And during one of them, he decided that he was going to go to the sound desk, which is situated behind us. And he walked off the stage and he was walking past the front row. And it happened that he was going towards the left of the stage, which is where we were located. And here's my hero, here's my musical idol, and he's about to walk past me. And to my mum's horror, and I just couldn't help myself, this is the man who wrote Purple Rain, this is the man who's done all these incredible things. I leaned over the person in the front row and patted Prince on the shoulder with a hearty, "Well in, Prince." He looked down to the side, didn't want eye contact, and who can blame him? I remember thinking he felt surprisingly solid. He was only a tiny man, but, I reckon he was on the weights. Anyway, my mum thought we were going to get removed by security, which didn't happen, fortunately. And then the sound check ended. "We'll see you later," he said. And we were allowed back outside, and me and my mum went for a meal, a succulent Chinese meal. He's passed away recently, rest in peace. And then back in for the concert, and it was incredible. He played all the hits. The first time I'd seen him play songs like, Kiss and Purple Rain. And indeed, when he played Purple Rain as his final encore, he restarted the song as he sort of said, I'll never get tired of playing this song. And it was a fantastic concert. He was doing, he pretended that the show was going to end early, and he said to people on the front row, never mind looking at your watch. He seemed in a really good mood. There was a member of his band in an all-white suit, and he said, oh, here's the ice cream van. It was just a great night, and it was a fantastic concert. Concert ended, and it was time for the after party, which was in a now, I believe, closed nightclub called The Basement in Sydney, which is somewhere I'd been a couple of times, and my mum tapped out at this point. It had been a long day. She decided to go back to the apartment that we were renting at the time. And I went into this nightclub, and there was a small stage set up, and I thought, finally, I'm going to see one of Prince's famous after parties with this, the rarely heard material and so on and so forth. I got talking to a couple at the front. The man was called Jay Harkness. His girlfriend was called Anastasia Sias. She was an actress, he was a film producer, and they were telling me about the projects they'd worked on, and we got talking about rugby league. I got talking about my latest book was about to come out. Back then it was going to be my second book. I ended up writing 12 before I sort of went into retirement on that front. And I said I would send him a copy of my latest book, and he said he would send me some of his Prince bootleg collection. And a couple of weeks later, to my absolute joy, he sent through a number of Prince CDs, which still forms a mainstay of my collection, stuff that it still hasn't been released to this day. So he was a really, really kind man, and yes, I did send him the book. Jay is unfortunately someone else who's no longer with us, so RIP to Jay. Thank you for your kindness. So we were having a good chat, and then there was I remember a blonde lady who said, he's not going to perform tonight, it's just going to be a DJ, and my heart sank. And the DJ was pretty good, and he was playing music, and then all of a sudden, and I was stood right by the stage, this is a tiny stage in a tiny nightclub, Prince walks out and walks right up to the front of the stage. He's asking what we think of the DJ. Again, he's incredibly down to earth and friendly and chatty. And then he reached over my shoulder to the blonde girl I'd been talking to. She had a tambourine with a Prince symbol on it. He took it off her and then began to dance in front of me. Prince was dancing in front of me. The song was Get Up Off of That Thing by James Brown. I'll never forget that. And although it's a shame, I guess I don't have the photos, I do have the memory emblazoned of Prince dancing right in front of me to James Brown. He reached back to give the lady her tambourine back, and a few people tried to grab it. Knight in shiny white armour here, I helped that tambourine get back to its rightful owner. As Prince, again, reached over my shoulder. So he gestured he wouldn't be performing that night. He mimed going to sleep, obviously done a lot of travel. So he sat in the bar with his musicians to the wee small hours. Nobody bothered him. Again, no security around him, but everyone sort of respected that was his private time. I saw Prince live one more time in the O2 London in 2011. 2009. No, 2007. Oh my God, I'm all over the place. But yeah, it was part of the 21 Nights tour, where tickets were priced £31.21 and came with a free copy of his latest album. Great show, absolutely fantastic show. Started with Purple Rain that time. And again, this time I got tickets to the after party at the Indigo Club in the O2 complex. And the security guard told us upon queuing that he was out partying with P. Diddy that night instead. So again, there was a DJ. So I never got to see Prince do an after show, but I did get to pat him on the back and say, well in, Prince, and have a little bit of a chat with him about the quality of his post-gig DJ. That's it. I'm Andrew Quirk, and that was the day I met Prince.